Hey everybody, welcome back to the official Wildhearts YouTube channel. Today we're going to be going over all the reveals that we have seen so far for Series 1. This is kind of a looking back in review, deep dive sort of video with just me today. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. Series 1 release is going to be right around the corner, so make sure you guys jump in and go ahead and follow our campaign if you aren't already. We're trying to get that follower count up as high as possible before we launch. So yeah, if you haven't already, go hit that follow button for the notify me on launch. All right, that is super important for us to be able to go live. So yeah, if you haven't already, go do that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this because we got a lot of cards to go over here. We've had a lot coming down the ladder here from the top 4 here, which was our mystery cards from the Series 0 campaign that people have been opening and sharing in our Discord. So if you've missed out on these reveals, maybe go join our Discord if you're into Discord. If you're not, don't worry, we will eventually get videos like this up for you guys so you don't miss any of that news. The next row here is the one that we ourselves premiered to you guys last week on the YouTube channel. So we're going to be doing a little bit more deep dive again on these. I know we did it in Tamer Talk, but I just wanted to, highlight them one more time before we, move on to the next set of reveals. And then the last 2 cards here are from our from you guys, from the public. You are the ones that actually revealed these. Well, sort of you guys. One of them was me, but it was like on my personal channel from my old TCG days of covering TCG content. So that's like me, but like shadow cloned. Okay, so it's not me brand manager Chase. It's me Battle Ready Inc. Chase. All right, completely 2 different people. Trust me on that. All right, but yeah, let's go ahead and let's look at these cards, break them down, and kind of give our thoughts on what we got going on. So first up is the Magibee, which I'm so glad this is finally in the wild, so that way you guys can finally see it. I've known about it for a long time and have just been waiting for this to come out. I'm a big KO fan in Ferocity. I think it's one of the more unique styles of play is like a heavy KO deck. So this really pops for me. It is a 5 power familiar, so pretty respectable. It is wild and magic, so it's got some good tags there. You gotta be careful with that wild though. Those raptures will be hunting this little Magibee down if you're not careful. And then its debut, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is magic, gain 1 VP. If not, discard a card from your hand and put the revealed card in your hand. What a powerful debut effect. Let's not stop there though. Ongoing, when a friendly KO effect is triggered, discard the top card of an opponent's deck. Alright, so kind of 2 different tactics going on here. More strategies. I can't use the word tactics anymore because we do have a tactics style. 2 different strategies though. But they can, of course, be incorporated into a single deck very easily. That debut, if it's a magic card, 1 VP. All right, so instantly your brain's like, okay, I'm just going to add in a bunch of magic cards into my deck, so I'm just going to get a bunch of VP. That works, okay? I've tried it. I ran the Magibee in the Roost, and the Roost has the ability to possibly trigger a debut effect of a familiar again. So you could potentially see 8 VP worth of cards off of this Magibee in a game, on a typical 4-round game. Potentially more, potentially less. Well, more than likely less. But it is still really powerful. But then, say you don't want to go that route. Say you're like, I'm not that worried about the VP gain, but I would love the cycle, right? The deck cycle. That I like to really run Kindolf. Kindolf gets me a lot of draw through my deck, which I like to see. Magibee here, revealing a card. If it's not magic, you can get rid of a card, discard a card from your hand, and then put that card in your hand, right? So that's going to allow you to cycle through your deck a lot faster, assuming you have cards you want to discard. But Magibee in a double ferocity deck with Infernander kind of sounds a little bit spicy, right? Because you could get that guaranteed discard if you're not putting magic cards in your deck. Getting that guaranteed discard for your Infernander could really pop off, right? So Magibby debut effect, just really just kind of how do you want to play your deck? How do you want to build your deck? It could really be pretty powerful. I would be leery though of putting this with something like a Ferritune that's going to also get you a draw, because two familiars getting you cards every single round is going to churn through your deck like crazy fast. Maybe too fast, and you might deck out, especially depending on your opponent's strategy. If your opponent's playing cards that are going to mill you, even worse. You'll really run out of cards fast. But speaking of mill, that ongoing, when a friendly KO effect is triggered, discard the top card of an opponent's deck. So a little bit of mill, not a ton, but it's just another little way to add on to it. One of the strategies, a little bit cheeky, that I like to do is the Enchanted Draft in Might gets rid of the top 3 cards of an opponent's deck. And then come in with Ferocity and use something like a Doubling Cube to trigger that Enchanted Draft again for another 3 cards. And if you, of course, use 2 copies and 2 copies, that's 12 cards that you're getting rid of out of your opponent's 30-card deck. Remember, they start the game with 7 in hand, so that's already, they're down to 23. And then minus another 12. Now they're down to 11 cards. And then drawing 2 cards every round, or potentially 3 cards every round, their deck is going to burn out super fast. And then Magibby is just one more card to add fuel to the fire. So Mill just looks better all the time, let me tell you. All right, next up we got the Fuegel for Tactics. A 1-cost ally, 1 power. Pretty low, right? It is a wild, okay? It's the napalm-like jelly. Now, again, you gotta be careful on that wild, but he's about to make up for that 1 power real quick. Debut, Fuegel gains +1 power for each ally with a different cost in this field. You notice it doesn't say friendly ally. Got to keep that in mind. It counts your opponent's stuff as well, for each ally with a different cost in this field. So already you got a 1 cost. He will see himself as a 1 cost. So boom, he's going to be a 2 power immediately. And he can just, really gets out of control, especially late game when fields are like super full, right? And then if this is Tactics, so you know what Tactics has a lot of? Mirror image tokens, which are zeros. So, he just gets really, really crazy. We've talked about in the past something like the Lady Seer, right? Is potentially a 6 power swing on a 1-drop. So if we're talking about the Fuegel here, he will see himself. You can see a 0, 1, 0, a 2-drop, a 3-drop. Pretty likely. There are some 4s out there, right? Looking at you, Psymonk, but we don't see a ton of Psymonk. So typically, we'll see 4 different things. So this is basically a 5 power swing, potentially, on a 1-drop. That's pretty good. It is really good, honestly. But then KO, you may unexhaust a non-support resource. So your opponents probably want to remove this guy off the field, right? He's a great auto target. An auto, because he's wild, you're going to gain that VP, right? But also, you're going to be removing potentially a ton of power off the board. So then him having a KO effect of unexhausting non-support resource, the resource you put into paying for him, you just get it right back. So it's like, oh, well, I lost nothing in this deal. So pretty cool card for a 1-drop. And he is a rare. So, for when that Series 1 drops. If you didn't get one, if you did get one, that's just one less card you got to collect. That's in the rare slot. Next up, we got Special Power. This is a 3-cost Tamer card for special. It is a skill card, and this is a doozy. Reveal the top 7 cards of your deck. Return all special attack tokens you revealed to your token pool and gain 1 VP for every 2 you return. Rounding up. That rounding up is actually pretty clutch, because you could reveal 1 and boom, you get the 1. You can reveal 5, and then you can get 3. Add 1 revealed card, and this as an exhausted resource. Then play a 2 or less cost card from your resource row. So one of the cards you could pick would be a 2 cost that you really want to pay out of those 7. I mean, imagine that. Imagine revealing 7 cards, digging 7 cards deep in your deck, and then just playing a 2 cost out of those 7, right? Assuming you didn't already have a 2 cost in your resource row that you wanted to play. So this is just so good, honestly. I mean, you think about playing those seek cards, right? I'm seeking an X amount of cards, and so I'm digging deep. Let's see, what would be a good example? Alistair's Guide, right? Alistair's Guide digs 4, and then you add 1 to hand. Say you added a 2 cost to hand, and then you wanted to play that 2 cost. It equals out to 3 power, right? Same situation here, but now we're digging 7 cards deep and potentially gaining VP. So not only are we digging more cards, we're still potentially playing that 2 cost card, right? So it balances out with something like a Seek from Doubling Cube or Alistair's Guide, any of those kind of cards, but you're digging even further. Now the stipulation, of course, is that you're not following it up the next turn playing that card. You're doing it right then, immediately, all in this one go. So it's all one action, basically, instead of being able to spread it out amongst multiple turns. But still really good just for that alone. And then on top of that, you're adding this as an exhausted resource, so you're going to be able to get your ramping as well, okay? And you're potentially gaining VP. What a great card. Like, holy cow, 3-costers should be super impactful, right? And I'm just thinking about basically everything you're doing is things you might be doing over the course of multiple rounds, but you're doing it so much more powerful. You're digging deeper, you're getting VP, you're ramping. Like, in a world where, say, I'm playing Alistair's Guide into Giant Growth, right, as an example, this card beats that, right? I'm playing this card, playing Giant Growth off of this card, right? But then I'm also gaining VP and gaining resources. Yeah, crazy good card. Crazy good card. Yeah, cannot wait to start playing more of this with those special attack tokens. Gonna be great. Next up, we got Slam Attack for Might. This is a Tamer card here. It is a skill card. Again, Infernander eating good in the neighborhood over here on some skill cards, potentially to be discarding. Choose a friendly familiar. KO each 1 or less cost ally in their field and gain... and their KO effects do not trigger. Oh, it'd be crazy if you gain their KO effects for yourself. But their KO effects don't trigger. So that's really great. So looking at you, Fuegiel, that we just talked about. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and get you off the board. And yeah, no KO effect for you either. Siltsune, no KO effect for the Siltsune. There's lots of stuff out there that we're just turning off. But KO each 1 or less cost ally in their field. Now again, keep in mind it doesn't say opponent's allies. So don't accidentally wipe your own board out with Slam Attack, right? It is a very powerful card that can have a really powerful effect here. But this is great for clearing off all those pesky little 1-drop Guardians, Terror Chicks and Crotians that are always abundant in those decks. You don't want to... you can't get around them. They're super annoying to deal with. Slam Attack's just like, yep, nope, away with you. I'm just getting rid of all the 1 costs, all in one big slam. Pretty solid here for dealing with a lot of these strategies that use a lot of 1-drop creatures, right? You just fill out your deck with like 50% 1-cost allies, right? Those because the action economy is really good, right? Especially if you like to play behind your opponent and you like to kind of slow down your burning through your resource, so you use a lot of 1-drops. Slam Attack just absolutely punishes that sort of play style. Now again, that can be, if you're not playing against that play style, maybe Slam Attack doesn't do you as much, isn't going to bring you as much value, right? So you're like, okay, well, this is like a dead card. My opponent barely plays any ally cards. Well, I have a support ability. So support, give an opposing ally -1 power in a field with one of your familiars. Yes. You might think 1 power, okay, it's not that big a deal, right? It's okay. Think about this. Think about all that block you're about to be removing off of this slam attack. Just like, oh yeah, Tortu, let's get rid of that block. Now let me clear that Tortu off the field. All that fun stuff. Oh, you got a blocked up Terrorchick over there? All right, well, let's just get that block off, and now I'll go ahead and remove you from the field. So the -1 power, super solid. But also the fact that we can get rid of block out of the way. There's been so many games I've played where I'm like, oh, if that block wasn't there, man, I would have a great play. And Slam Attack just absolutely does that. All right, that is it for the mystery cards that were revealed. Let's move on to the ones that were revealed on the official Wildhearts YouTube channel last week here. First up, we got Magical Melody. Now, we have gone through these cards before, but I still want to do it just on my own here. We got a 2-drop Ferocity Tamer card. It is skill and magic, so that's really nice, having a skill card and a magic card, so we can fit this into multiple different kinds of decks with way different strategies, and this card will still work. Discard the top 3 cards of your deck. Choose 3 different effects in any order. Play a discarded 1 or less cost ally card and give it +2 power. Trigger a discarded KO effect. Play a discarded 1 or less cost Tamer card. Add 1 discarded card as an exhausted resource. All right. Whole lot going on in this card, right? Now, think about it this way. Think of all these like 1 cost cards, and we get 3 of them on a 2 cost Tamer card. So what we were talking about earlier about the just kind of the raw action economy, and basically you're getting way more value potentially, right? It is ferocity, it is a little bit of gamble, but you could potentially be getting way more value beyond what you're paying for. So that's really nice. The +2 power on the ally, pretty great. Like, not only do you get to play the ally for free, right, off this card, but you also give it +2 power. Pretty good. Trigger a discarded KO effect. Okay, make sure you put some KO effects in your deck, and it doesn't have to be a 1 or less cost ally to trigger that KO effect. It can be any power level or any cost level on that KO effect. So you can get some really good ones on those like 3 cost allies with KO effects. That'd be really good to trigger off of this. Play a discarded 1 or less cost Tamer card. Okay. Pretty easy to do there. And then add 1 discarded card as an exhausted resource. So basically, if you think about your resource action economy here, you're paying 2, but then for the rest of the game, you're going to have a bonus resource. So next round, it's going to make this basically have been a 1 cost. And then the round after that, this will have become a 0 cost. And then the round after that, then this will essentially netted you 1. So if you play this in round 1, then by round 4, you've actually gained value in resource over what you initially paid for it, and you got all this other stuff. So that's pretty good. Especially if you play this like round 1, this is a pretty good round 1, turn 1 card to play. In my opinion, at least. Now you got to, of course, make sure your deck is built around the potential of hitting as many cards off this as possible. You might not trigger all 3 of them, but you should, in theory, at least be triggering 2 of the 3 every single time. So yeah, pretty solid card. It is a little gambly, but that's the thing we do with Ferocity. Now again, if you know what cards potentially you're coming up, looking back at that Magibee, reveal the top card of your deck. You know what it's going to be. If it's a magic card, if you're going to be able to get any value off the Magical Melody. Also, looking at something like the Ferocity Sealant, that you reveal the top card of your deck to see if the style matches. If it doesn't, you don't gain any VP. But either way, that card goes back to the top of the deck. Basically, both these cards are just examples of how you get to peak at the top card of your deck before you play Magical Melody to at least know 1 of the 3 cards if you're going to get any value off this Magical Melody. All right. pretty solid, and you can definitely work around it. Now, next up, we got another familiar to reveal for you guys. Well, it's already been revealed, but you know what I mean. It is a tactics familiar, only 3 power here, but don't let that fool you, because he's got a lot going on. He is tame, aquatic, and elusive. For the most part, some of these aren't super relevant yet, but keep in mind we've got a lot more cards coming down, and then these tags are going to be a lot more important later on. But the fact that he's tame means that he's not wild, so that way Rapture cannot take him off the board. But debut, shuffle an item card from your discard into your deck to draw a card. I already talked about earlier with the Magic, I love draw power. I love cycling through my deck. Any chance I can have at least one familiar that gives me some draw, I'm usually in a pretty good position, right? You got Magiby, you got Badoo now, you've got Ferrotoon, you got Kindolf. That's literally a familiar in every single style, just immediately right there off the top of my head, that has a draw ability built into it. So that's what I like to see. All right, it doesn't matter which style combination I'm playing. I know I have the choice of putting in a familiar that's going to get me some draw power. But also being able to shuffle back in an item card, and it's shuffle. It's not put to the bottom. It is shuffle it. So you could draw it at any point. But something like, I don't know, let's see, a lucky hat. We are talking about tactics here. Putting a lucky hat back in to use again. Ooh, that feels really, really good. So I like to see it. Let's not stop there, though. Ongoing, when you deploy, move, or play another friendly creature to this field, you may move them to an adjacent field. This has a lot of potential. The skill involved in this ongoing is actually pretty high on the things you can do. Now, of course, it's got some obvious plays to it, right? You want to deploy an ally, like a 1-cost or a 2-cost ally to Badoo's field and slide them over into a crag. Absolutely easy play, solid play, like no qualms about it. Pretty simple, pretty good, okay? No issues there. Good play for sure. But it doesn't stop there. Like, that's the obvious stuff. There are some really interesting combinations that you can do. Unfortunately, some of them I can't even talk about yet, but when the card gets revealed later on that combos with this, I'll reference it again, so make sure you come back and watch our wrap-up videos, our reveal videos for the future, because we've got some other cards that are going to combo great with this. But for right now, think about stuff like an Alistair's Guide to Support, right? We're moving a tame ally. So say Badoo's in the middle field, and then I'm going to move an ally from field 1 to field 2 where he's at, and then I could just move it again to field 3. So by putting Badoo in the middle, I can potentially move my creatures all the way across all 3 fields, back and forth all the time. As long as I've got that first initial movement that moves them at least once. Yeah, Badoo's pretty crazy. Looking at something like a Crochin, right? Crochin moving a creature to that field, and then you just get to move it again. Again, it's got to be your own friendly creature, and it's creature, not just ally. So looking at some stuff like, a Skyson, deploying a Skyson, moving it into Badoo's field, and then with another ally, and then we can move those again, right? So maybe doing some Oliver's Inlet tactics, right? Of just constantly moving creatures back and forth in and out of like an Oliver's Inlet for more plus power. It's pretty good. It's pretty fun. There's a lot of fun, cheeky things you can do with this. There's a lot of really good, solid strategies you can do this. I feel like this is one of those great examples that I love about Wildhearts, in that the entry point of like understanding concepts and like getting in and like, okay, I know what to do with this card. That's cool. Is really low, right? You can just like pop in there and immediately like, okay, I've got some ideas for this. Pretty simple, straightforward. But then you can like those higher skill players can be like, oh, I can do some crazy stuff with this card. And that's exactly what Badoo is. So really cool. Next up, we got Spirit Shackles. And this is a 2-cost Tamer card, Magic Spirit. So again, more magic for our Magic Bee to work with here. And it's a Spirit card, which is really great for something like a Gelsene. Choose an opposing ally. Until the end of the round, their power is not counted when scoring. They cannot be moved, returned to hand, KO'd, or swapped. If you win their field, gain 2 VP. This is pretty good. Okay. You got to be careful, though, because sometimes a Guardian, like those low-cost Guardians, just get in your way and you can't use this. But there are so many great 2- and 3-cost allies in this game that if you could just, like, blank them out for a round, right? No power, and they just have to sit there on the field. That's pretty good. Okay, so looking at something like a Tadalo with Guardian, the Croc has Guardian, right? So they can't even be blocked up, or they can be blocked up, but they can't be Guardian to protect them. And those are some really powerful cards, especially looking at something like a Tadalo, which if you're using 2 familiars with ongoings, and he also has an ongoing himself, that's a 9-power ally just right there on the take, just dropping it right there. That's huge, and their opponent's probably expecting to win that field with that Tadalo. And you just like Spirit Shackle them, like, no, you're not winning that field. I'm winning that field, and I'm also going to get a bonus 2 VP in addition to that. Spirit Shackle, pretty strong, being able to take just blank out an entire creature for a round and give yourself 2 VP. So yeah, that's pretty nice there, I would say. Next up, we've got the Might reveal for the set of 4 here. It is a 2-cost ally, 5 power. This is a pretty standard stat line for Might, 2-drop, 5 power. We're pretty used to seeing this. Sealan, so this is a new form of the Sealan. We've seen the Might version, we've seen the Ferocity version, but now we're seeing the Might version. It is tame, magic, aquatic. So again, more magic to work with. It's tame, so it's protected from the Rapture. It is a Guardian, okay, a 2-drop Guardian. And these are a little bit more conflicting on, you're like, oh, I don't like to waste 2 resources on something that has Guardian, right? I want to keep that stuff, like, my sacrificial pawns as pawns that are low cost, right? But think about it this way. It's dodging Slam Attack now. Now that Slam Attack exists, it's dodging that. So, there are actually good reasons to have 2-drop Guardians now. But then it kind of makes sense because this card is so strong that if you could put it behind a Guardian, that would feel so rough to be able to get to this, because you don't want to let this guy sit on the board at all. Debut, put up to 2 non-item magic cards from your discard into your hand. So again, more magic synergies here. Putting 2 magic cards into your hand from your discard is pretty good, as long as they're not item cards. There's just so many magic cards. We've gone through so many just in this small set here of like skill magic cards that you can see the value here. Being able to add 2 cards to your hand, especially being able to add back cards that you've already played, is really strong. But then it doesn't stop there. Ongoing, when you play a magic card, you may move a creature in this field. Any creature, either side, ally or opponents, opposing allies or creatures. So familiars as well. And his debut gives him the magic cards to be able to do this. If you didn't have the magic card in hand already, he's going to get you that magic card from your discard to make sure that you can do exactly what this ongoing's got going on for it. Move a creature in this field. So you're going to play this to an active field, 5 power, cool. Play a magic card, move out whatever big beastly creature that they have in this field. And it doesn't even have to be an adjacent field. I think that's the craziest part, is that you get to move them out of the field and you can just put them into either other field that you want. It doesn't have to be adjacent. That's pretty strong. That's pretty strong. Being able to just like move your opponent's biggest, baddest creatures out of a scoring field. Or even being able to, like, I'm crushing this field right now. I've got so many allies, and then my familiar, it's all like juiced up with crazy power. And I need it in a different field, the other scoring field that I'm losing in. So it's like, okay, I'm going to play Sealan here. I got 5 power there. Play the magic card. Now I'm going to move my big beastly familiar over to that other field, and now I'm winning both fields. So the overall, the things you can do with this is pretty great. So crate, man, I cannot speak today. Pretty great of all the different stuff. Now this is a legendary though, so yeah, that's gonna be a tough one to get. If you're trying to get your playset, just keep that in mind. You may need several bundles to be able to get that ceiling as a 2 of. All right, that is it for the reveals that we did on the channel last week. Now we're going to go into the public reveals that we did. We'll do Lead the Way since that's the first one that came up. It's a 1-cost Tamer card, skill card. Again, more skill cards. Love to see it. This one's pretty great. Give a friendly familiar +3 power, and you may trigger their debut effect. Holy cow. Any chance I can use to trigger my friendly familiars effects again. Like, we've been looking at the Roost a whole bunch for a lot of these different strategies. Like we talked about the Magibee earlier. It's like, oh, I revealed a magic card. Oh, the Roost triggered my Magibee. I flip over the same card because it just stays there on top. Oh, another VP. Oh, let me play Lead the Way now. Reveal that same card again because I already know it's a magic card. Oh, another VP. And that's just one example. So there's so many familiars in this game that just have incredible effects. Thinking about like a Vesperoon, right, that triggers an ally's debut effect. And one of the ones I really like to do is the Terpion, right, that's going to give you VP for every field you're currently winning. That's pretty great. So you got Lead the Way, so your Might Tactics deck here, trigger that Vesperoon to then trigger that Terpion. Boom, I just gained even more VP. So so strong. And that's just a couple examples. Just think of all the different familiars that we have, and the further the game goes and the more familiars get added with more debut effects, the value of this card just goes up and up and up. Okay, but we kind of glossed over the fact that it also gives 3 power. Like, I feel like 1 cost debut effect alone, not too bad, right? But also, we're going to give 3 power just for kicks. It is a Might card. Gaining power is what Might likes to do, getting the biggest, beefiest guys. So, having +3 power, if you look at something like a Kindolf, you put this on a Kindolf, he's essentially gaining 4 power and drawing you a card. No debut effect, unfortunately, but still 4 power and a draw on a 1-cost card. Yeah, I'll take that too. Looking at something like the Infernander, that, you know, if it's winning the field, it will gain a power. So again, that's like basically +4 power because you're going to get the 3 power first, and then if you're winning the field, because then the debut effect triggers after you gain the 3 power, then you're going to potentially gain more power. So that's going to put you up to 4. Not too bad. You can do some really big power swings with this card, as well as some really powerful debut effects. So Lead the Way, just a common, but wow, what a powerful common it is. And then the very last one we have here is the Terror Claw. This was revealed by Samuel Graham Does TCGs. And this is the one he chose. He won the Roost event, the webcam, not the webcam, the Tabletopia version, right, where we use the mod. He won that tournament, and out of all the reveals that were made for public like dissemination, this is the one he chose. This was his #1 pick out of every single card. All right, so it is a 2-cost ally, 5 power, an ally in special. All right, that is a Might stat line. Okay, in special. That's pretty cool. All right, it is tame and aquatic. So again, we're dodging the Rapture. Bubbly Crab Guardian. All right, it is a Guardian. So we already kind of talked about this with the ceiling, right? You know, it's great for like countering slam attack players. It's great for countering like the Rapture Familiar that likes to eat up 1 cost. Like that familiar, the Rapture Familiar loves to eat up those 1-cost Guardian creatures like all the time. So having 2-drop Guardians kind of makes sense, right? Like the further and further along we go here. So having Guardian there is pretty interesting, especially because we have a KO effect. But debut Seek 3. Of course, Special likes to do their Seek. Looking at you, Ferrotoon. But debuts Seek 3, not too bad there. On a 2-drop, 5 power. If you think in comparison to like an Alistair's Guide, that is a Seek 4, right, for 1 cost. This is 1 less, or 1 more cost, 1 less Seek, but 5 power, okay? Unfortunately, it only gets you 1 card instead of 2. But it's also a Guardian. And then KO, add 1 special attack token as a resource. Not to your hand, not to your deck, as a resource. So opponent really doesn't want to let this guy sit there. He's got Guardian, so like if they want to remove other things, they have to get rid of the Terror Claw first. And then if they do, KO effect, add a special attack as a resource. So just get your classic special stuff going on. Like so many special abilities happening all here. You get Seek, and then you get to ramp with a special attack token. Like, wow, what a special card. Like, literally, very much a card that screams, I am from the special style. I like to do what special does. All in 1 card here. So, yeah, that's pretty great. And again, on that 5 power on a special ally, that's really awesome. This card's really, really rad. I'm in love with every single one of these cards we talked about. They all have incredible value. I am curious, though, to know which one out of all these is your favorite, okay? I don't think I can really choose. Like, Lead the Way, I like Lead the Way a lot. Magibee, of course, I love the Magibee. Fuegel's got some pretty great stuff going on. Golly, there's just, yeah, there's so much. There's so much. Yeah, they're all pretty awesome. But that'll do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. And remember, please go follow the campaign if you haven't already. If you made it through this entire video and you're not following the Series 1 campaign that we just talked about all these cards for, why? Why not? Tell me that. If you don't want to follow the campaign, tell me why you don't want to follow the campaign after watching a 35-minute long video. Because that is information that I would actually love to know. All right, guys, I will see you next time in the next video. Later.